Hey students, welcome to a new school year. I'm Mr. Hine. I'll be your language arts teacher this year. You will probably also see Mrs. Dowler in our classroom as well, as she and I teach together. If you missed the first day, please go ahead and complete these 3 paragraphs just to tell us a little bit about yourself. On that same sheet, you can write down 5 expectations you have for me as your teacher and 5 expectations you have for yourself and for our class. In this video, I'm going to talk through some of the common questions and some of the procedures that we have in place in our classroom. It'll be especially helpful if you missed the first day or the first 2 days, or if you just need a refresher on what some of those guidelines or answers to those questions are. As you see on the slide, I would be the content specialist in our classroom. That means that language arts, the content of language arts is my specialty. If you see Mrs. Dowler in our class, she is the instructional strategist. So her focus is to make sure that all of our content is accessible and engaging for all of you. If you don't see her in our classroom, she's right across the hall. So make sure you say hi when you see Mrs. Dowler. A little bit about myself. I have some photos on the slide. So I love to play tennis. I love to read and write, obviously, teaching language arts. I love to travel, some photos from the West Coast. And then I also coach girls basketball over at the high school with Mr. Jansen, if you know Mr. Jansen from last year. I graduated from Iowa State, go Cyclones, and I am just starting my master's at UB online. I'll let Mrs. Dowler introduce herself and talk through some of these things on our first day. So if you missed that, you can touch base with her to learn a little bit more about her. So classroom learning. In our classroom, some of the literature that we'll take a look at is on this slide, and I'll post this as well. So you'll be able to look through some of these things, and then the writing as well. We'll do a few different types of writing. Free reading is really important. I want you to always have a book with you in class so you can read when you finish something early. So you're not just bored sitting around when we have designated reading times, and please read at home as well. Common questions that I get about our class. So I want to run through these real quick. What do I need for class? You need something to write with, pen or a pencil. Make sure, like I said, always have that free read book or whatever book we're reading for class. Always bring that to class with you. Make sure your Chromebook is charged and that you have it with you, and you'll have a notebook that you will leave in our classroom crate that you can just pick up from the crate and then leave in the crate after class is over. What do I do when I come to class each day? When you come to class, drop your stuff off at your seat. Then you can use the restroom, get a drink, grab materials from your locker if you need to. When you're in the classroom during passing period, you need to be in your seat. We're not running around the room. We're not roaming. Find your seat. Get started on the bell ringer if you're in the classroom. When you're finished with the bell ringer, you can free read quietly until we begin our content for the day. Breaks during class. We will have a break. It typically is 4 minutes long. It is a privilege that can be lost. We can take a short break in the class if we are not behaving well in the hallway. When we're on break, you're going to stay in our hallway. You're not going to the vending machines. You're not going elsewhere. You're going to be quiet while their classes are in session. Get the stuff you need, do whatever you need to take care of, and then get back to class during that break. The grading system for our class is just total points. It's also letter grade. So everything is worth the amount of points that it's worth, and that leads to your overall score for the class. When will I contact parents and guardians? Every weekend, I'll send out a missing work email or a low grade email through PowerSchool, so parents and guardians are aware of how you're doing and your progress in the class. I'll notify them with team times. If your phone gets taken to the office, they will get notification of that as well. And if you're exhibiting positive work and positive behavior, I will notify them of that also. Phone policy. I want you to be present. I don't want to see your phones, whether you have your phone out and you're using it, or whether I just see your phone, leave it somewhere else. If I'm seeing it, I'll have you take it to the office. So please be present. I care about you engaging in our classroom, and your phone rarely is helpful in doing that in our class. When do I need to sign out? Every time you leave the room during class, other than during break, I need you to sign out. The sign out sheet looks like this. So you have the date over here, your name, your destination, where you're going, whether that's your locker, the restroom, another teacher's class, maybe during guided study or something. And then what time did you leave and what time did you return? Discipline procedure and retake forms, retaking an assignment. I'm going to make a separate video on those two things. So be on the lookout for that if you're curious about those things. If you have questions about this stuff, please let me know. But I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and learning with you this year.